Hello, and welcome to our tutorials for working with listeners and events in Finesse Gadget Designer. In this portion, we're going to talk about how to raise a manual event in our projects. Most of the components we see in our projects fire or release specific events. For example, if we load a button and load the action on it, we see a button only fires a click event. Similarly, a checkbox fires an on-change event. These are all the automatic events included with each component. But we can also raise some manual events that we can use in our projects. All these automatic events are of a level only within one particular project and also increase component dependencies, whereas we can also raise a manual event in our project, which are all globally available in all of your projects and can be used to communicate between multiple projects and reduce dependencies between components generating events and listeners. To demonstrate a manual event, we'll first drag a button and a list onto our frame and populate the list with some values. To do that, we go to the Values button and we'll add the name of some countries into our list. India, Sweden, UK, Russia, and so on. Clicking Add after each, and click Save. Now, we'll change the label and component ID, which we'll name as Clear. So, let's see how we can raise a manual event. Go to the Tools tab, and from the Events menu, select Manual Events. A pop-up appears, which gives us a menu item field, where we can name our manual event. We're going to name this manual event Clear My Data, and click on Add Item, then click Save. So, on the click of this button, it will raise that manual event, and this list will be bound with that manual event. So, click the button, and over here, click the plus sign to add an action. On the click of the button, we want to fire an event, and it has to be a manual event. So we select the checkbox next to Manual Event. In the drop-down, we can select the manual event that we created before. Then we click Save. Now, we have to link this to the list, so select the list and click Add an Action. From the list of events, we again go to the manual events, and in the trigger box, we select our Clear My Data event and add the action Clear Data. Then click Save. If we publish using the button on the upper right and refresh the page, we'll see the result in our output. Here we have a list of country names, and if we click on the Clear button, all of our data is cleared. That is how we link two different components using a manual event. The two components aren't directly dependent. They were linked with the help of a manual event. Now, we can use the same manual event in other projects as well. So we'll save this project and open some other project on my server. We'll go to Open and select one of my projects. In this project, I have a button and a grid. But I want to link my grid to my newly created manual event. So I click my grid and go to Actions to add an action to this. Instead of my manual events, we'll have to go to Global Manual Events, since we didn't create it in this project. So I click Global Manual Events, and the project name was Manual Demo 1. And if we click here, we see our Clear My Data event. Again, we set the action to Clear Data, and then we click on Save. This is how we're able to use a manual event that we raised in some other project in a different project. Then we can go ahead and save and publish our project. Now, let's reopen our Manual Demo 1 project. To demonstrate that the manual event we created is working globally, let's drag a URL reference into our frame and resize it by dragging on the bottom right. We'll add the other project in this URL reference from the Select Project, and the project was called Pop-Up Grid Demo, so I'll select it here. And we'll see it gets added to our project here. If we publish the project and refresh our output window, we'll see the result. Here we have a list, our clear button in our project, and the URL reference has loaded our other project successfully. If I click here and load the demo from our pop-up grid demo, and then click the clear button, the data is removed from both the country list as well as the grid demo project that we've linked to. The clear button is linked to our manual event, and the event was linked to both the list as well as the grid. And that concludes our demonstration of how we can create a manual event to use locally in a project, but also globally to link multiple projects together. As always, thank you for watching.